You're listening to The Critical Thought, where we challenge our listeners to use critical thinking when examining the teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hi, I'm Lady Cee.
Hey, I'm JT.
And we just want to kind of come out and, talk about our year, 2017. We are now winding down and getting ready to get started for the new year. And there was just a lot of stuff that we were doing last year. There's just so many people we've spoken to, the hundreds of emails that we received, and the number of people that we work with. I just want to kind of give a shout out to a few people. I know I can't mention everyone here, but what I would like to do is just kind of talk about some of the people that we've worked with. Like, for instance, Gus Astacio on the Healing ExJW group on the Blog Talk Radio. We thank you for reaching out to us and having us on your program. We enjoyed being there. And Son of Thunder, I want to thank you for inviting me to host the Ladies' Night Out on the vast Apostate Hour. That was a lot of fun. And also Gilbert GonZealous. He's one of our guys out on the internet that we love so much. And he's reached out to us on several occasions to be on his programs as well. So we want to thank you guys for, reaching out and inviting us to be with you and collaborating on different videos. And then just a few people that, when I first started out, when JT and I first started out, and I got a chance to work with Sylvianne Nuccio, Susan Gaskin, Robin from What's Up Watchtower. And I really appreciate Susan and Robin because they were interviewed on my Hidden Struggles program, which is going to be launching in 2018. I've been so busy with the critical thinkers that I haven't really had a chance to launch that. So ladies, be on the lookout for that. And just there's just a host of people that, have been there for us and reached out to us and mentioned us on their channel. Katya and Christian, I want to thank you guys for, putting us out there. Lizzie B, thank you so much for all the things that you've done and things you've said about us. And there's just so many people, I can't remember everybody's name. Sundance 88, I really appreciate you reaching out and, coming out trying to, do some collaborations with us. But our schedule was just so busy that we weren't able to really get together to do anything. We interviewed 3 couples. I think was it 3 couples that we've interviewed?
So many people.
It's just so many people. I want to thank everyone for, being on the Critical Thought or the ladies on the struggles of Jehovah's Witness women. Because, without you guys, we couldn't have been a success in putting these videos out here, But I want to thank the couples, too. I think it was Jennifer and Antoine, the pioneer couple that left, Rashana and Terrence. We really appreciated having them on our show. And it was my dad that told me, he goes, can you guys believe when you first put Rashana and Terrence's video out there, it was getting 1,000 hits an hour. That's right. So we were going viral for a minute there, And then the newest couple that we interviewed, that they just got their channel up and running, is Keith and Shannon. And they've been doing a whole lot of stuff on the internet. And so, get a chance to, check them out when you get a chance. And then I really appreciated Joy Grant. She was on our channel several times, giving interviews and stuff like that. So, there's just a lot of people that, have come through our channel. Amanda, we really appreciate you for, talking about your college experience. And I believe you want to be on our show again because you got more to say. And your husband, Greg, also would like to be on our program. So we're looking forward to a big lineup in 2018. And, there's just so many people. Spike Robinson, thank you so much for reaching out. And she's with the Open Minds Foundation. And I really, really appreciated working with Spike because, she helped to talk about the various things that you can do when you're leaving a high control group. And we received so much information and a lot of good feedback from her as well. And as this video goes on, I'm probably going to remember a lot of things, so I'll piggyback on what I missed in the beginning of the video. But JT and I want to just kind of talk about some of the highlights of our videos that we put out this past year. And we want to kind of talk about, what was the biggest one that you think we had a lot of feedback from? JT?
Probably the biggest one that surprised me was the one that dealt with people who are in relationships with Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right.
Some people are married, some people are dating, some people are about to get married. That was probably the biggest surprise. I was just so amazed. And interesting, many of those people, they actually did not post comments. They actually contacted us privately. And it's just amazing. And as you talk to these people, how they literally see their lives are falling apart, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know why. So that was probably the biggest thing, having those type of individuals reach out because of how they're being impacted. It's very unfortunate because many times these people, they found the person when they was disfellowship, when they were basically kicked to the curb. Nobody would talk to them, nobody wanted to be around them. People in the congregation basically treated them like dirt. And here this person comes along almost like a good Samaritan, picks them up, dusts them off, cleans them up, and gets them back onto a more of a positive road. And now that they are going back to the Kingdom Hall, and the person may have decided, well, I'm not interested in going down that road, this same person now has become their enemy. And
that's kind of sad.
It's very sad. And in some cases, these individuals, they have children together. So now all kinds of dynamics come into place, and they're looking for answers, which is interesting because when you consider these people, many of these people have never, talked to Jehovah's Witnesses, really had any deal with Jehovah's Witnesses, and yet, they didn't just simply say, well, I'm just leaving, I'm out of here, I'm gone. These people actually took the time to start reading and researching. And, well, let me look and see what my wife is into. Let me see what my husband's into, or my boyfriend, or my girlfriend. Let me get a better understanding of what they're doing or what they're into. So they're looking into all of this information. They're researching. They're taking the time to do all this research because they want to know, well, what is my wife or my boyfriend or husband or girlfriend involved in? Which is kind of ironic when you consider how hard it is to get a Jehovah's Witness to do the same thing. Right. And yet these people, because they see how their lives are being impacted, they're taking the time. So I think that was probably the biggest surprise of all of the people that we dealt with, was just how many people, or how people's lives are just being impacted. And unfortunately, it's not being impacted for the good.
Nope. Yeah, and I really, felt sorry for a lot of people because, and one of the things that we were trying to get people to do, and even on our website, I have a statement that says, silence is power. Yeah. Because in the Jehovah's Witness world, to continue talking about something that's going against the grain of what they believe in, and to them, they feel like it's persecution.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the Jehovah's Witness training.
Right.
As a witness, you are trained that if anyone says anything about the organization in a negative light, you shut down.
Right.
I mean, it's like an ATM machine on the third try. It's going to shut down, and that's what witnesses do. And so that was probably the biggest piece of advice that we gave to people was, and these people oftentimes, they were very excited. They would do all this research. They would find all this information, and then they would just come in with 200-page binder and read this, and you'll see what's going on in your religion. And we would let them know that unfortunately, that's not how you're going to be able to do it.
You know what I found? This is what I found with this whole situation is a lot of people that contacted us, they contacted us after they had tried to approach the family member about this organization and what they learned about it on the internet. So it was almost like when we started trying to give them the solution on what to say to them, they had already wore out their welcome and talking about the religion, so they really couldn't, ask those critical thinking questions or kind of pose a question that they could come back and answer and then do research themselves, because they had done beat that dead horse until it was like, forget it, And so that was the thing. Silence is power. I'll definitely say that when you are encountering a person that is a Jehovah's Witness and you're in a relationship with the person, don't come back to them and trying to show them all these magazines or all these videos, trying to show them, hey, look, you need to read this, you need to watch this. You know, that's what they believe in. They believe that they're being persecuted.
Well, yeah, and once again, it goes back to the training. They're trained for that. You know, they're They're like Team 6. You know, they're trained for when this happens, you do this. When that happens, you do that. And a Jehovah's is trained. They know. And so that's why, you know, we feel that our experience of being Jehovah's Witnesses can help people, because we already know what they're going to do before they even do it. You know, my wife was a pioneer, had Bible studies. We know how from the very beginning, right through the whole process. As a former elder, you know exactly right through the process of how these people are trained, how you were trained, and then how we train others. And so that's why you get, and it's interesting, we would get these emails from around the world. I mean, I was people, some of the language I couldn't even read, but you know, we get it translated, you know, everything. But people from around the world. And so what ends up happening is you see the same pattern that they're having with their family, because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses. So like I said, that was probably one of the biggest surprise for me in 2017. So we're looking forward to giving people some tools to help them so they can better approach it. Instead of burning the bridge down, then trying to cross the river to the other side, they can make sure things are okay, and this way they'll be able to cross the bridge. So I mean, it's been a very interesting year. A lot of interesting people we've met. So I mean, it's been interesting.
Right, and not only that, when it comes to people that are dating individuals that are Jehovah's Witnesses, most people don't think anything about someone going back to their church or something like that, because they realize that, they're going to be, you know, they don't think that they have to give up so much in their lives.
Different religion.
I mean, when you think about being a Jehovah's Witness and now all of a sudden, you know, you can no longer celebrate holidays, you can no longer, you know, attend these different festivities that other religions don't have an issue with, and then you're in the middle of this relationship. Like you said, they have all these children together, whatever, and a lot of people are married. And we just got a email from a lady who was talking about how she's married to someone, and that person said that they would never go back to the Jehovah's Witness religion, and now all of a sudden they want to get rekindled with the religion, and they want to drag this person back with them, and she's like, I don't want to do that. So I mean, there's a lot of challenges for people out here, and we are putting together, like JT was saying, you know, like some a toolkit to help people in this arena. You know, so just hang in there and just continue on and doing what you're doing. But like I said, silence is power.
Yeah, that's probably the best advice that we have found. That is the most effective advice. When you first learn about this is not the truth, you have to make sure that you keep it to yourself until you are prepared to approach people that you know in a manner that doesn't shut them down, because then you won't get the second chance many times to come back and help these people. We want people to think critically. And when people, as our friend Daniel often laughs and tells us all the time, you know, when emotions are high, critical thinking is down. And so when you approach a witness about his beliefs and you're questioning, you know, his emotions are just going to go off the charts. And so there's very little that you can say or do. You know, I tell people all the time, facts, documentation, proofs, evidence, it means nothing to a Jehovah's Witness, because all they know is you talking about mama. And that's just the bottom line. You know, another video that we did that we found very interesting was the one that dealt with why do we have a deficit so many times in the circuit. And it was interesting, the feedback that we got back from people all over in terms of the number of people who, like myself, grew up as a witness kid and always wanted to know, why are we always talking about we got a deficit? And I was really amazed at how at some circuit assemblies, and these are assembly halls that are paid for, their expenses are running like $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 for a weekend program. And it's just amazing. Hey, it's absolutely amazing. When you consider the assembly hall is paid for.
Right.
And you're sitting in a building that has, you know, efficient lights, efficient heating and cooling, and still when they read off the numbers, the friends are, you know, they're in a gasp like, oh my goodness, what did we spend this weekend? Right. And especially for witnesses who have been longtime witnesses, we're not even doing food. So there's no food and beverage anymore. And so yet expenses are still running very high. And the number of people who were just appreciative of getting a chance to see how these numbers are put together. And it's just amazing the feedback that people have when they look at many of those videos.
Wow, that's true.
Yeah.
But not only that, but I remember when we lived in Ohio, and in the congregation every month, they were always talking about we're in the red. And I was like, when are they going to turn out the lights in this place? Until JT told me that because of the way the society gave out the loans to the Kingdom Halls. See, I thought that people went to the local bank and got their loans for their Kingdom Hall.
They get through the society.
Okay, that's what I thought. And so we talked about that,
They get through the society.
Yeah, and so then I was thinking, wow, when is Bank of America going to come shut them down?
Yeah.
But then when you said that they got their loan through the society, I was like, oh, okay.
But isn't it interesting how the society pulled off? It had to be this had to be the most smoothest bank robbery ever performed.
Right.
Remember the people we talked to a lot of people who are still witnesses, and they relate to us the night that the letter was read.
Oh yeah.
And so basically the way it was presented was, friends, the loan that you have with the society is canceled. You're good to go. We love you. We just want to make sure that we have a place in the community to worship God. Don't worry about the expense. We cancel your loan. And then to turn around and basically tell the friends, we want you to keep on sending the same amount forever. I mean,
forever,
right? And so,
right.
And so it's almost like we was talking to some people before. We were talking about how the society. It's as if the society doesn't tithe individuals. They tithe on the congregation level. I mean,
right.
When you think about a Kingdom Hall, and when we had a couple of people we know, they was like 3 months out from their Kingdom Hall being paid for. Now they're gonna be sending that check with the same amount, like $3,000 for forever.
Well, remember your cousin, because JT has a cousin, and he had called me on the phone and everything one day, and so he thought I did web development, but I do video production. And so he said, I got a client that needs somebody to do some web development, And so as he's having this conversation with me, he all of a sudden breaks in and says, what the hell is going on with the society taking the money from the congregations? And he said he was going off. And this is the cousin that we tried to tell him about the Crisis of Conscience. We gave him the book Crisis of Conscience. And then, about 3 weeks later, he sent the book back to us and said, thanks, but no thanks on the side of the box. Yeah. And he's still a Jehovah's Witness, but when the society had sent out that letter asking for all that money back from the Kingdom Halls, that's what he called and was asking me about what was going on. It was just funny,
Yeah, he's a unique Jehovah's Witness.
We'll talk about him on another video. And maybe one day we'll be telling his story about how he delayed in leaving, because when...
he's going to be really upset.
Yeah.
He's going to be so ticked off. He's going to be
so mad. But you know what? The funny thing about it was, of all the people that we know that knew that we left, he was the only one that called us on the phone to ask us why we left. Yeah. And then, that's how he ended up getting Crisis of Conscience and so forth. And we thought that, he was like we had a bait on the line, and we thought, hey, look, he's going to get out, and all to the detriment of him staying, but he kind of like is there, but he's not there.
He's almost
there. He's getting there. He's getting there.
He's working his way. He's working out the back door. That's all he's trying to do.
Right, exactly. Now, we have a call to action video that we want to put out here to you guys, because JT has a video that is now approaching 114,000 views. So, a lot of people need to hear the message, and the name of the video is Why the Former Bethelite Leaves the Jehovah's Witnesses. So the call to action is for you all to put a link to this video on your Facebook page or your social media page or something, because this video really needs to go viral, because I can't tell you how many people we have gotten emails from relating to that video, and thank you for helping us wake up. Yeah. But you know what I found to be very interesting is the number of walkaway believers that we have encountered. Yeah. And the latest video comment about that video, a person had been gone for 20 years. Yeah. And they found out about this not being the truth, and they just couldn't believe it. I mean, can you imagine? You leave the organization, you're not even practicing.
No.
But you're feeling guilty. Every time you see a Jehovah's Witness, you're like saying, oh, I know I got to get back to the meetings and all that kind of stuff.
Get myself together.
Yeah, get yourself together.
Get myself together, brother, real soon.
Kind of reminds me of that girl that we met this the Bible study, JT and I, when we first left the organization, and we were trying to tiptoe out of there, and without being, accosted by the elders and, drug in the back room and, hung up by our neck and whatever. And so this young lady saw us at the grocery store, and we had already left the organization. And she was like, Brother JT and Sister Lady Cee, she said, I know I got to get myself together and get back to the meetings. But she had not even, been going to the meetings. But
years.
She didn't realize that we had left because we thought she was still going.
Yeah,
remember?
She was still going. Yeah, I didn't know she was still
So,
going.
I mean, it's just so many people out there that are just walking away because they can't keep up with the do more.
Jump higher, run faster.
Right. And so it's really, really sad. So that's why we're saying we really want you all to get that video out there so that people who are walk-away believers can really start to do their research to find out what's going on.
Yeah, so they can start healing. People need to start healing. When you have people who've left the organization 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they're still being beat up, feeling guilty, they need to heal. Yeah. And what was interesting is that a number of these people had no idea. In the video, we discussed the three main teachings that really caused us to stop, pause, and take a good look at things was the generation teaching, alternative service, and the changing of the sheep and the goat. And many of these walkaway witnesses were like, they changed that? You got to be kidding.
Right.
They changed it? And I said, yeah, they changed it.
But it makes you wonder, how many people that are still going to the Kingdom Hall right now realize that they've changed that?
Well, there are people who still go to the hall. Some of the older friends, and I've heard people make the comment, they have friends at the hall that still raise their hand. Brothers, so pretty soon the generation 1914 will be dead. And then somebody got to come back behind, well, we don't really believe that now, we can change, So there's a lot of, because that 1914 generation was beaten into Jehovah's Witnesses' heads so hard that it impacted decisions that people made about their lives. So these people, even though they've changed years ago, they still walk around giving comments at the hall about the generation 1914, I'm going to die out, brothers. It's just so ingrained, and it's just so sad, But that's one of the things. And so if you can share it with people, if you think somebody would benefit from it, share it with them. That's what we asked in 2018. If you see one of our videos and you enjoy it, share it with somebody. Just find one or two people who say, look, check this out. Just let me know what you think. And we appreciate that, because we think that by approaching this from a critical thinking standpoint, leaving out as much emotion as possible, just looking at what's in front of you, and going forward, that's the best approach. That's the absolute best approach.
Absolutely. And and you know what else JT and I, what we always find, you have to have thick skin to be out here on YouTube, because of all of the comments that people leave. I mean, there are so many trolls out here. There are so many people who have a faceless YouTube channel. They don't even have a picture of themselves on here. And I remember when we first started our channel, remember? We did not have our face on YouTube. And we actually started out on Blog Talk Radio. And so that's the reason why we were doing all audio. So anyway, like I was saying, you got to have thick skin to be out here, because I don't know, people, they say some of the darndest things about you on camera. So for those people who have something to say, all I can say to you is, you get the courage to come out here on video and start telling your experiences and telling all about what life was like as a Jehovah's Witness. Because, it wasn't really easy coming out on camera and sharing our story and talking to people. But we realized that when we started getting emails from people talking about they came across our video and they were going to, commit suicide. I mean, I spoke to a guy who said he had already planned his funeral until he came across our video. And we realized at that point that we had to keep going.
Yeah.
Because we were saving lives, right?
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. And when you think about the number of people that also say to us, why don't you just move on with your life? Why don't you just, get on with life? And why are you up here telling your experience and telling your story? But this is what people do. When people get stuck on the sides of a mountain, who comes to get those people? Other humans come to their aid. So our YouTube channel is just like going to someone to a rescue site to help people, and so we are volunteering our time to help people, and we enjoy doing that. But I tell you, we have taken a hit on a lot of different people coming at us, attacking us, and saying things that we're saying that's not true. But look, we live the experience. All the things that we say on our channel, you may not have experienced it yourself because maybe that wasn't how your congregation was running at the time or whatever. But everything that we say on our videos, this is what our personal experience has been. And even JT, that's why we came up with that video about, why attack the messenger. Remember?
Yeah.
I
think it's very important. And when we think, I tell people all the time, even people who have sites like ours, when you really think about it, we really need to probably thank the Jehovah's Witnesses who come here. And I'll tell you why. When you consider what it takes for a dedicated, baptized Jehovah's Witness to sit at his computer, look at that link, and know full well that this link is going to take me to a site where I will be listening to former Jehovah's Witnesses talking about things that involve the organization. And that Jehovah's Witness sits there with that mouse in his hand, and he has two choices. He can click on ExJW.org, or he can click on Critical Thinkers. And what does he do? He clicks on Critical Thinkers. And how do we know? Because he also posts. And so it takes a lot of courage for a Jehovah's Witness to do that. Now, many of them, they'll come on the sites and they'll make all kinds of nasty comments. But at the end of the day, it's kind of sad because they lose. See, as a former Bethelite, we were always told when I was at Bethel, never, ever listen to what former Jehovah's Witnesses have to say. At Bethel, down in Brooklyn, there used to be a man that stood outside, and if there's any Bethelites who are watching this video or anyone perhaps who had been on tour to Bethel, especially in the morning, there was a man who would stand out there every day, and he would holler out, the Watchtower is running y'all young men's lives and this and that. And we just blow around by them.
Oh, yeah. When I was there, he was the guy that used to say, this is not the house of God, it's the house of demons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his name, we refer to him as Mr. Coffee. And he was a former witness who went to one of the kingdom halls right there. His wife, from what I understand, was still a witness, but he was this fellowship. And he used to give the Bethelites a hard time. I remember one day one of the trucks had pulled in and it was unloading. It came from down south and it was unloading watermelons for the Bethel family. They served watermelons in the summertime. And I'll never forget, we was coming out that morning and the brothers were, 4 or 5 of the guys were unloading the truck of watermelon. And he started hollering, look, they're bringing in watermelons for the blacks. They're bringing in watermelons for the blacks. This guy was off the chain. He was just off the chain. And so as a result of that, because he seemed so crazy, we didn't pay him no attention. And I often think to myself, what would it have been like if I had the opportunity to talk to someone who talked reasonable, someone who made some good points? Because this guy was just off the chain. So the governing body always told us, they would say, never, ever listen to what they have to say. They always told us why. Because once you hear what they have to say, you'll never get it out of your head. So for us at Critical Thinkers, if a Jehovah's Witness comes here, even on our site, post the most negative thing, can dog us day and night, after they listen to that video, they'll never get it out of their mind. And so when they're sitting in the Kingdom Hall the next time or sitting at the Circuit Assembly, they will remember what they heard. And so as far as we're concerned, the minute the witness clicks on that link, he's lost. Mm-hmm. Because he has now gone beyond what he is supposed to be doing.
Right.
So that's why for me, I thank Jehovah's Witnesses who come to our sites because it gives a confirmation that at the end of the day, There are lots of Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not buying everything they sell now at the Kingdom Hall. When the faithful discreet slave says, have nothing to do with former Jehovah's Witnesses, they up there. In fact, it's so interesting. Because we have the internet today, more and more Jehovah's Witnesses, they are becoming comfortable. They're becoming at ease. If you look at, you go to any former Jehovah's Witness site, all the guys and girls who got sites out there, look at the Jehovah's Witnesses who are posted. These guys are comfortable. They're like,
well, you know what that is, JT?
What's that?
We got something better to say than the Watchtower.
Well,
our stuff is more exciting.
Oh yeah.
They like it because you know what?
Yeah, that's true.
I remember at the Kingdom
meetings
Hall.
Can be kind of boring.
Now understand. Everybody that's listening to this video right now can appreciate this. What I'm getting ready to say. When you were at the meetings and you be out in field service and going out and you're in your car groups and stuff, and you're with your little group of friends, you always talked about the things that you did not like that was going on in your congregation. And there was always somebody in the car group that would steer you back around.
Checkmate.
And tell you that Jehovah is going to clean out his organization and he's going to make things right. So when we are talking about these things on our video, there's people that's sitting at the Kingdom Hall that can actually put a rubber stamp on it and say what we're saying is true.
Yes.
Because they're living it just like we lived it.
That's exactly right.
You know?
So for the Jehovah's Witnesses who come, the only thing I can encourage you to do is, and I've actually had this conversation with people who are now former Jehovah's Witnesses. Sometimes just simply don't go to a site where there's dialogue. Just go to a site where there's just information. There's no discussion back and forth. Just go and do some real research and look at it with an open mind and ask the question, does this sound like something from God? Does this sound like something that a group of people sitting around a conference room table put together? And so that's why I tell people, don't get upset when Jehovah's Witnesses come on your site. Be thankful because they provide the confirmation that deep down inside, there are lots of people who don't agree with everything that's being said down at the Kingdom Hall, even though they cannot publicly let it be known. So if you get a chance and you haven't seen, don't shoot the messenger video we did, take a look at it again.
Yeah, because what you just said is interesting. It's like, we have people that have come on our site and they've made comments and they have actually said, we can do these things. We're not we can talk to people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, and nobody really said that they couldn't talk to a person that's not a witness, but or they would say stuff like, we could go to college. Remember the one about the college? I mean, that's a big thing, And so it's like, it's not about the fact that you can't go to college. It's about the fact that the people that do go to college are not put on the circuit assembly or the regional conventions, as examples to everyone else to say, hey, look, this person went to college and they got their diploma in their hand and they're walking across the stage and all that. No. You're not going to see that at the conventions, And so I guess it's the matter of, it's easy for people to try to defend something that doesn't make sense. But at the same time, people are learning by example. And so what are the examples that you're seeing at these conventions and at these assemblies? The examples are people quitting their jobs to pioneer and people, not having their kids go to college, or they're homeschooling their children, or they're doing things to take their family away from what is considered normal in the world. And then, of course, mentally speaking, their minds are being shut away or shut aside from reality, to the point where you have all of these people that are growing older and they have no benefits. Like, think about what JT said in one of our videos that we did when we did the interview with Shannon and Keith. And he talked about how there's a Bethelite that has for 30 years, all zeros for Social Security, And as a caretaker of my parents, my mother did not work a job, and now she's sick. So now in caring for my parents, we have one income to take care of two people that need to live in two separate locations given their illness. So when you really think about it, as you're growing old in these congregations, think about what you don't have, or the women that are stay-at-home moms. They're not working jobs. So when they get older, they'll be just like my mom and dad. Because my My mother was out in field service. That was her job. And so, of course, everybody knows that the Watchtower don't pay. You don't get paid. And your payment is supposed to come at the end of the system, which, of course, since the beginning of her time to now, it has not come. So these are the kind of realities that Jehovah's Witnesses are forced to come to terms with.
That's bad.
You know,
that's bad.
It's bad.
So I mean, it is amazing what you as you look back and see how things are done. So for Jehovah's Witnesses who come here, take the time to do some real research. You know, you can argue back and forth. Do some research. Since you're here in violation of what the society said, make use of the time. Make good use of the time. That's all we got to say.
So this has been Lady Cee.
This has been JT.
And we look forward to seeing you in 2018. Have a good new year.
Take care.
This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers.